Conor McGregor want to be a part of that?
I'm on it.
Conor McGregor stunned supporters when he boldly announced that his much-anticipated comeback to the UFC would occur at the White House event in 2026, with Michael Chandler as his selected adversary.
This is me, Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler and myself have done the show, The Ultimate Fighter. We've had a good back and forth. He's a good, tough guy. And, you know, the Mac is excited to get back for sure.
After years of rumors, postponements, and cancelled arrangements, McGregor's audacious statement has rekindled excitement around a bout many thought was lost and forgotten. His declaration quickly became one of the most discussed topics in combat sports, not only due to his return after a 4-year hiatus, but also because of the unprecedented venue of the potential clash.
You know, the Mac is excited to get back for sure.
In UFC, there'll be a fight at the White House. They're making up the cards now. Does Conor McGregor want to be a part of that?
I'm on it.
You're on it?
I'm on it.
Who are you fighting?
I am. This is me, Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler and myself have done the show, The Ultimate Fighter. We've had a good back and forth. He's a good, tough guy.
So McGregor, you got big names coming back?
Yeah, we'll build the greatest card of all time for the White House fight. And Conor and I have been talking consistently. He wants this fight bad. And you know, when you get to a level that Conor's at, you got to find things in life that motivate you. And the White House card has definitely motivated Conor McGregor.
McGregor hasn't competed since his severe leg injury against Dustin Poirier at UFC 264 back in July 2021. That evening concluded with a stretcher removing him from the octagon, leaving many questioning if he would ever fight again. Since then, his recovery journey has been plagued with false starts, including a widely publicized matchup with Chandler at UFC 303 in June 2024. That was canceled when McGregor sustained a broken toe. The persistent uncertainty transformed his comeback into an ongoing drama. But now he asserts that the long-awaited fight with Chandler will finally take place on one of the grandest stages in UFC history.
Pretty well. Things are going great. The White House. Dana White said you and John Jones, that's a real deal.
I'm going home. I'm going to get the head down. I'm going to rest. They're testing me. I'm in the pool. I says, you know, man, I thought that's what the pools are for, jumping in and out. But I'm back in the pool. So get ready and stay ready because damage will be done. Oval Office, White House guard.
For fans, the concept of McGregor fighting at the White House event is extraordinary. The UFC has organized this spectacle to commemorate America's 250th anniversary, with Dana White vowing to create the most impressive card the promotion has ever assembled. Having McGregor headline adds undeniable charisma, and the Irishman understands this. At 37, after years of speculation and political diversions, he appears determined to remind the world of his prowess inside the cage.
Conor coming back. Conor says he's coming back. He's in the pool. He's doing his thing. He's all kinds of footage of him training. You know, he wants to fight on this White House card. We'll see. I mean, we won't start building that card till February.
Debate.
And then when's the election? The Irish presidential election? That I don't know. That I don't know. It's like, which one is what I heard? You know, which one is he more focused on? All polling is saying that he's going to win by a landslide. No, really? Oh, hell yes. Polling saying he's going to crush the election. So they're doing everything they can to try to keep him off.
Michael Chandler, at 39, hasn't been reserved about advocating for this fight. His career has faced challenges since his dynamic UFC debut, with tough defeats against elite fighters like Dustin Poirier, Charles Oliveira, and most recently, Paddy Pimblett, at UFC 314. Still, Chandler remains certain that his showdown with McGregor is the one fight that could shape his UFC legacy. Despite his setbacks, his readiness to battle anyone, anywhere has made him a fan favorite. And a matchup with McGregor at such a historic event feels like the ultimate convergence.
They said they're not going to start matchmaking until next year, but like, where's your head at in terms of your return to action?
You know, I think you know, obviously that's a fight that I want. I want the White House. You know, first and foremost, I want the White House. Ideally, if it becomes Conor, that would be awesome. You know, obviously we have some animosity or some unfinished business. Once again, I just said there's not really animosity. I got respect for him. He's got respect for me, but we do have an unfinished business. And he has, you know, expressed interest. You know, when he put out that meme of me and him, I guess you could call it a meme. It was AI. You know, it was me and him. You know, he's called me out on Twitter and said we have unfinished business, and we do. We have unfinished business. We would be the only fighters not to fight after the Ultimate Fighter who were in the same weight.
The history between the two athletes dates back to 2023, when they coached opposite each other on The Ultimate Fighter 31st season. That season was packed with tension, verbal sparring, and the kind of drama the UFC thrives on. Fans anticipated the coaches would face off in the octagon soon after the show concluded. But delays, injuries, and UFC politics prevented the fight from happening. Even when it was finally booked for UFC 303, misfortune struck again, leaving both fighters and their supporters frustrated.
Think McGregor ever fights again or no?
Think so. I mean, he has to, right? I think he has an expensive lifestyle too. When you're fucking ripping your boat and taking jets and doing all that, money starts to get drained, right? So he has 2 fights left with the UFC.
Oh, it's 2.
And then after that, he has the freedom to do the big boxing events and all.
Now with McGregor once again generating buzz about Chandler being his opponent, the storyline has come full circle. Chandler has responded with enthusiasm, vowing that this potential showdown has everything needed to become the greatest fight in UFC history. He highlights their history, the prolonged anticipation, and the distinctiveness of fighting at the White House as reasons why this matchup could outshine anything the UFC has done before, with Dana White and even Donald Trump reportedly involved in the event's planning. The spectacle surrounding this card could be unlike anything MMA has witnessed.
Another big event that's coming in 2026 that I got to talk to you about, the rumors are swirling about, it's this White House event for the UFC. How excited are you about this? Because it looked like when this became a potential, you started getting fired up.
Oh yeah. Listen, I love one-of-one type events like the Sphere last year for UFC Noche. The White House is literally the unicorn of one-of-one events. We're going to be on the South Lawn. We'll have under 5,000 fans on the South Lawn, and then the park that is connected to the White House will have 85,000 people.
The UFC White House event is set for June 2026, just before America's 250th birthday, while the official date is July 4th. Logistical reasons have shifted the show to June, but that hasn't diminished the excitement. The UFC hasn't visited Washington, D.C. since 2019 when Alistair Overeem fought Garzin. Returning with such a monumental card puts immense pressure on the promotion to deliver something unforgettable. McGregor's role in this event also underscores his unpredictable nature outside the cage. Not long ago, he declared he was running for president of Ireland, a move that surprised many but never gained serious traction. By September 2024, he had revealed his political ambitions. But the campaign fizzled quickly as he failed to secure meaningful support. Ultimately, he withdrew from the race, citing reflection and family consultation.
He's coming to the White House. Are you excited about this? I mean, have you thought about? I mean, it's a pretty cool.
I'm ecstatic that Mac is back, and what better event than to grace the White House lawn for a straighter? What I do best. I'm very, very excited, very eager, very motivated. Bring it on, baby.
Do you think that's when you maybe come back? I mean, what about comeback for you as far as fighting?
I'm very happy that it's June. It was on in July. Now it's a month earlier. Even better. Bring it to April. Why not? Let's celebrate the birthday early. I celebrate my birthday months in advance.
So we could potentially see maybe possibly White House Conor McGregor.
That's a definitely.
That's awesome.
For sure. That's my event.
That's your
my
event.
The political episode became a source of mockery, especially from outspoken former fighter Chael Sonnen, who wasted no time criticizing McGregor. Sonnen ridiculed the notion that McGregor ever had a credible political run, calling it a delusion from the start. In his typical brash style, Sonnen dismissed McGregor's explanation, highlighting his extravagant lifestyle and legal issues as evidence that he was never serious about politics. For Sonnen, McGregor's presidential bid was nothing more than a publicity stunt that collapsed under its own absurdity.
Conor McGregor is going to be the headliner of the White House event, which is next year. We don't need Conor to win. We're not even expecting him to win. We acknowledge there's no way that Conor can win. And we're putting him in a beyond silly situation. We have never returned somebody after a 4-year break and put him in a 5-round atmosphere. We have never returned somebody coming off of a compound fracture and put them in a 5-round atmosphere. But we need the idea that he possibly could. We'd like to get some minutes in. So who is the right body that can fog a mirror, doesn't affect the ranking, doesn't have anything consequential going on in their career, that we know has slipped enough that even Conor McGregor could get some minutes in with? Who would it be? Would you bring somebody else back that's been out for 4 years? I think you all would agree wanted to see Dustin Poirier. Are we looking to just go right with Michael Chandler and pick up where we left off? Do we bring in a BMF belt?
Despite that humiliation, McGregor seems resolute in redirecting attention back to his fighting career. Re-entering the USADA testing pool signaled his dedication to returning, and his ongoing communication with Dana White suggests that this time, his comeback might actually endure. For fans who have endured years of delays and disappointments, his claim that the White House fight is real has sparked both optimism and skepticism. Conversely, Chandler has embraced the uncertainty. He openly admits that his belief in this fight has only grown stronger despite years of waiting. For him, facing McGregor at the White House is more than just another bout. It's the chance to headline a card that could go down in history. At nearly 40, Chandler knows opportunities like this are rare, and he's determined to seize it if the UFC delivers.
Makes sense. I did my job. I signed on the dotted line. I've still never pulled out of a fight, never missed weight. The most important thing about this White House card, and whether I am a shoe-in for it or not, when you're building a card of this magnitude, it's not necessarily even about putting on the best fight. It's about putting on the best fights that are the most reliable. Which fighters and which matchups, which marquee contests are going to happen on the White House lawn that have an almost virtual certainty of actually happening. In this crazy sport, there are no guarantees, but I'm about as sure as a guarantee as you possibly could be. Like I said, never missed weight, never pulled out of a fight. And if I can walk to the octagon, if I can physically make it to the octagon, I'm showing up that cage, that octagon door is closing, and I'm putting on a show for the fans. I think we're closer now than we ever have been. I've always said, if you're a betting man, don't put money on him necessarily coming back, but now this changes things a lot. In my heart of hearts, I think I'm fighting Conor McGregor at the White House, and that sure does make a ton of sense for a multitude of reasons.
Dana White has been cautious with his statements, repeatedly noting that official fight plans won't be confirmed until February 2026. Still, McGregor's public announcement has fueled speculation that plans are already underway. White has promised to craft a card so spectacular that it would leave fans astonished. And a McGregor-Chandler headliner aligns perfectly with that vision. The build-up to this event has already captured attention beyond the MMA world. Between the symbolism of fighting at the White House, the celebration of America's founding, and the involvement of high-profile figures like Trump, it carries an air of spectacle that few sports could rival. For McGregor, it's an opportunity to solidify his legacy after years of inactivity, controversy, and political distractions. For Chandler, it's a chance to stand toe-to-toe with one of the sport's biggest stars on the grandest stage imaginable.
Backing him up, baby.
Not against me, I'm not, Michael, yeah? Some of these kids are in the UFC before you're in the UFC.
Maybe if you showed up
and break your nose, you little fool, you.
Come on,
yeah, what? Make your
wait. Oh, we're gonna do this? We're gonna fight right now?
Out of my way.
Let's go, baby.
Conor McGregor grabbed my face and pushed me. I'm ready to fight.
Yet uncertainty persists. McGregor's history of injuries and abrupt withdrawals leaves fans reluctant to believe until he steps into the octagon. His political ventures, business endeavors, and legal troubles add layers of unpredictability to his career. Even Chandler, despite his excitement, knows that nothing is certain until the contracts are signed. If this fight does happen, though it could redefine what the UFC is capable of. Never before has an event been so closely tied to the White House or carried the weight of a national milestone like America's 250th anniversary. With McGregor's star power and Chandler's determination, it has all the makings of a spectacle that fans will remember for decades.
Conor couldn't go 5 rounds back when he could train all of the time. How are you possibly going to go 5 rounds? You have the most undisciplined guy in the sport taking on maybe the most disciplined guy in the sport. How could you possibly breathe for 5 rounds? I'm not putting Conor down in this spot. I'm saying this is what he's up against. I will walk out there and try anyway, because if I land that left hand, I'm never going to have to get to those championship rounds. When I watched him hit the heavy bag, I've got to tell you, he moves in a beautiful fashion. I noticed that he had an emphasis on elbows and the power he has from that as opposed to leg kicks. I haven't seen a huge emphasis on the leg kick, which I think we could all understand. But it is the biggest question of the fight. The question is not, can he beat Michael Chandler? What difference does it make? He didn't beat the last guy. What difference does it make? They're not even fighting a weight class. The whole question on this fight is, can Conor, is he special enough? Is he driven and disciplined and hungry enough to return after such a catastrophic injury? That is the story of this.
At its heart, the story of McGregor and Chandler is one of perseverance, setbacks, and unresolved business. Both men have experienced their highs and lows, but their paths have remained connected through years of delays and disappointments. The White House event, if it truly becomes their battleground, could finally bring closure to a rivalry that has lingered far too long. For now, the world waits to see if McGregor's bold promise becomes reality. His words have reignited the excitement, but will it take more than words to convince fans who have been disappointed before? The UFC is the stage. The fighters have the history, and the stakes couldn't be greater. If everything aligns, McGregor versus Chandler at the White House could go down not only as the most anticipated fight in UFC history, but also as one of the most iconic sporting events of all time.